This is Cam Kelly. Welcome to another Devil Talk. As always, joined by Brent Pope.
Nice to see you, Cam.
Nice to see you too. And this week we've got Ben Davies on the show. How you, Ben?
Yeah, I'm okay, thank you.
Let's get straight on to your season. Started off the season absolutely fantastic. You're having a great time at the moment.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. Loads playing, getting regular ice, playing on the PK and a little bit on the PP at the moment. So, yeah, it's going really well. I can't really complain. So,
What part of the season were you top scorer?
well, I think towards the start, the first couple of games,
Yeah.
couple of
Seven
guys
games. I think 7 games he was top scorer and still.
yeah, so
Doing
a
pretty
couple
well.
of the guys hadn't started going then. So,
So you picked up the slack,
yeah,
did you?
yeah. Well, no, I had a good couple of games, and yeah, I ended up towards the top.
It's nice to see you back actually, because you're back this season. Last season you weren't.
Well, I left around Christmas time.
Yeah.
Last year I left. Went to Basingstoke.
But you were saying before that was quite beneficial, but it's just a relief to be back.
Yeah, obviously, Cardiff's my hometown. I've played here for my whole time I've played hockey, so yeah, I love it here.
Okay, well, from the stands, you're looking good out there. It's looking,
thank you.
yeah. Well, I really think the whole team are looking good out there at the moment. But apparently Sheffield don't, right?
Well, I think there's a lot of stuff going on between what's going on with the Elite League at the moment and maybe some views for the future and getting through the season that's maybe been a little bit of a challenge for some of the teams in the league. Sometimes I think that some of these things are created in order to create a story. But obviously we've got that big match coming up against Sheffield coming down here next Friday.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say, do you think part of the reason that we are hearing negatory things from up there is maybe a little bit of psych out in time for Black Friday?
Well, I think that it's something that they'll want to employ. I mean, at the end of the day, the result is going to occur on the ice, so we can talk until the cows come home.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be how well the teams prepare, and really just I think how well we're situated and ready. We've got Brad Voth who's away this week
Yeah.
for personal reasons back home in Canada. Jared Adams, who I think Ben was saying hadn't trained this morning. So we don't know whether or not he'll be in the lineup this weekend. So there's a few things still to kind of turn the corner for us ahead of next weekend that are a little bit more important than what people got to say up north.
This Saturday then, Edinburgh at home.
Big game. I mean, I was just chatting here with Ben. I mean, Nathan Craze, who is a Cardiff born and bred from Merthyr Tydfil, is now the #1 goaltender. And I was asked Ben, his thoughts on Nathan Craze's performance. We haven't seen much of Edinburgh so far this year, but what do you think of Nathan having a standout season now for Edinburgh?
Yeah, I think it's quite. He's doing really well. He's making a name for himself. I think Edinburgh are moving up the stands, and really to us they're a bit of an unknown quantity.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't played them at all. They got a lot of European players, but they got this Yarrell, and he's a big goal scorer. He's got like 20 odd goals already. So
Right.
It's going to be a tough game.
Because the goaltender is from local stock, will that make you more determined to put a puck past him?
Yeah, well, I think a couple of the guys know him quite well. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's obviously been in Belfast. He's had a couple of chances in Belfast to play well, and he's played quite well. He's had 1-2 goal games, and that comes shutouts. So yeah, it should be nice to get a couple of goals past him.
Yeah, I reckon. And who are we looking out for? Who would be the troublemaker in Edinburgh?
I'm not really sure. I don't know a lot of their players.
I think those guys flying out of the radar is half the reason why they're having success. It's that we probably don't even really know who the guys are because we haven't seen Edinburgh this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's part of the, as Ben says, the unknown quantity of the Edinburgh Capitals,
Yeah.
who are currently in 7th and are doing the best of the 4 Scottish teams this year. But they found a way in and amongst a number of changes to be able to put together a solid team. So we're looking forward to seeing what they've got to offer on Saturday.
Dundee.
Yep.
That was the last home game. Saturday
Yep.
just gone. Quite a convincing win there, 6-2.
Yeah, it was towards the end. We got a couple of good goals.
Mhm.
The whole team played well.
Because I think that's what the Devils have been missing, a scoreline, a score deficit like that. I mean, that was a great scoreline to finish on. It was amazing.
Yeah, we've had a lot of tough games at the start of the season. It's
Mm.
not been too good of a schedule for us, but it's nice to get these couple odd games here and there where we get a couple extra goals and confidence does start flying, which is good. Obviously, this weekend we got 2 of the lower league teams, but obviously no pushovers, and then we got this massive game against Sheffield on next Friday. So
Who do you think, in your opinion, who in the Devils in your team is excelling at the moment?
I think Stevie's playing really, really well for us. Obviously,
And his testimonial, yeah?
yeah, he's playing well. Kenton and Mark Richardson, they're both very, very strong
Yeah.
in the defence at the moment, and then we're getting goals from everywhere now. Like Max Matska, PSE, they're all playing really well. Stu keeps getting the points.
I think as a team, I think to watch anyway, the Devils are looking like one of the most put together teams at the moment. Certainly anyone who comes down to the big blue tent never looks as organised, never looks as together. They haven't got a set plays. I think certainly, is there extra training that's going in this season that's really paying off?
Yeah, well, we're working really hard on the ice and practice and stuff. Obviously, the lines have been a lot of switch and change at the moment. Me, Sam, and Tim, we're playing quite well together, I think, and just trying to work hard at the things we need to work hard at in practice, and it seems to be paying off quite well in the games at the moment.
Well, the Belfast coach, Doug Christensen, commented last week ahead of their game on Sky that he thought it was a real achievement for Belfast, who've come in here this season and have won their 3 games. They played Cardiff in the Big Blue Tent. It's difficult. It's probably the most difficult place to come for an away team to travel into Cardiff to win a game. Not only because our fans are so passionate and supportive and it's kind of a smaller venue, but we're used to the bounces and we're used to sort of, probably working that environment to our advantage. We can hurt ourselves and shoot ourselves in the foot maybe by how passionate we get and how quickly we get on a referee, because it seems to at times almost go against us. For the most part, it's difficult for the opposing teams to come into Cardiff and have success because that's the rink we train in and practice in all the time. And obviously, we know how important it is to have a good performance at home.
The away record as well. I think it started off a little bit tricky, but it's getting better as the season goes on. And I know certainly from their last visit to the Big Blue Tent, Hull are not to be underestimated. I think I made the mistake of laughing at their name the last time we discussed them because
I think I did as well.
I think the Stingrays suck. As a name.
Well, they had a little venom, didn't they?
But they did that. They can't be underestimated. What do you predict for Sunday's away game?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really hard. Last time we went there, we drew 2-2. We tied it up in the last minute. It was a very tough game.
Right.
That was Challenge Cup, so we didn't go to overtime or anything like that. But Hull's a tough place to go. Their fans are on you the whole game. It's big ice, nice open ice, so we should be able to do all right. I think hopefully having a nice win on Saturday will bring us into Sunday quite well. So
it's always a lot easier to go away on the Sunday, I imagine, after a home win gives you confidence, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
And then, of course, as we alluded to before, Black Friday is the day before Christmas Eve, and that's the day that Sheffield come to town, and that's the big one, right?
Yeah, that is a massive game for us. Must win, I think. I'm not sure what happens if we go to a tie, but obviously it's brilliant that we got the home game. We've played them away already, so I don't think they're going to be looking forward to coming into our rink to get a win.
Well, because it is the Friday before Christmas, what happens after? Let's just move forward a week. What happens? You beat Sheffield, right? Do you go home, relax, chill out in front of Come Dine With Me, or is it off with the team into town?
I don't think we're gonna. We got a tough schedule just after Christmas, so I don't think it's gonna be too much. There will be celebrations, I think, if we win.
I would imagine.
But I think it's gonna be tight knit. I don't think we're gonna be out all night partying. I think it'll be a couple of drinks and then home to chill out for a while.
Famous last words. It always turns into a big one when it's only going to be a couple of drinks.
I'm still working out the tongue twister of "Come Dine With Me." I thought it was something else that you said there, but I think the guys are just going to sort of relax probably after that game. I think make sure, because they've got the Boxing Day game as well against the Five Flyers coming down. So 3 days later,
we kind of got from Ben a little hint as to the unofficial word. The off the record and for the record, they'll be going home, sipping cocoa, and getting ready for Boxing Day.
Yeah, for
probably won't even be getting up on Christmas Day, or exerting themselves by opening any presents, will they? Because they'll need to preserve all their energy.
They'll go for an afternoon walk, I suspect.
I imagine they. You need to get some air, get some oxygen around you. Right, and also before we leave today, Ben, just your comments on Paul Thompson stepping down as Team GB coach.
Yeah, I think it's a big loss to GB. I'm not sure who's going to be stepping in, but I think he's done really, really well with GB. From things I've seen on Sky and spoke to guys there, he's a very good coach on and off the ice. Off the ice, he works very hard, I think, and him and the manager, I think, have worked from GB. But we'll see who jumps in. Between
you, is there any name that you've speculated over as to who might replace him or not?
I don't know. It's a tough one to follow in the shoes of Paul Thompson, because he's had a great and probably been the most well-known and most successful coach over the last decade in British ice hockey. So for anybody to follow in behind that is some big boots to fill. But at the end of the day, the GB team had a great World Championship last year, and now they need to move forward and almost got a chance to be promoted. So you don't stand around and feel sorry that your leader that looked to be the natural fit for the club has decided to step down. The sport's got to go forward, and so does the national team and the program. So it'll be an interesting time.
I feel like I should put forward. I've noticed that every time anyone discusses any sport and there's the position of a national coach, the first name that anyone ever mentions is Harry Redknapp. So I'm putting him forward for the job just because I feel I should.
Yeah,
And do you see a future in Team GB no matter who comes along?
Oh yeah, for sure. I getting leaps and bounds better.
Yeah.
Like I've been through the junior system, and I've been lucky enough to go to 5 World Championships, and yeah, we've done really well.
Okay.
And I think the seniors, I know they've got a tough year this year.
Yep.
But it's a big chance to make a name for themselves, as Popa said then. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
Good luck with Team GB, should that come off in the future. And also, good luck with the Devils, obviously, this Saturday and Sunday, and massive luck as well for Black Friday.
Yeah, thanks, Cam.
Thanks, Ben.
Cheers, Cam.